Node sales have become a big topic. Everyone is doing them. Today, I got Moonveil CEO MJ to go ahead, come on the channel. Apparently the owner of the Riot Mafia that is building the most crazy gaming ecosystem, to go ahead and share what's happening with his sale. Their public sale is happening tomorrow, October 24th, 6 a.m. Eastern time. Full disclosure, I've gone ahead, invested 26 nodes into their ecosystem. If you're going to be buying into their sale, you get 10% off with code JM, and let's get right into it. So you're doing a node sale. Everybody loves node sales, right? It's the biggest, coolest thing. Everybody's doing it these days. I've got to ask, MJ, Moonveil Muse nodes, why are we doing nodes and why are they useful?
That's a great question, right? So right now, everyone loves nodes. I'm kidding. We got a lot of pushback, a lot of different opinion about that. Totally get it. Totally be aware of that. And directly answering your question, right, is that we still feel node itself is one of the most authentic and organic way to connect the people, the authentic decentralized approach, and also the project together by enabling the users and players to contribute literally to the infrastructure that we are building. And for the node sales, for the Muse node that we have, right, is a good connection that we can build between the users and the infrastructure, enable them to make contribution to the ecosystem, and then as an exchange, getting the rewards based on that, right? So that's literally the true meaning of how we define the co-building of an ecosystem together.
That's fair. That's fair. That's fair. Okay, so why have we decided to choose Polygon of all chains? Like, why is Polygon all of a sudden going back into gaming? Is this like a real narrative that's happening?
It's hard to say. It's their strategy. I'm being super honest with you. I think from our side, right, is that we came from a traditional game dev background. We can talk about that for sure. And when we started as a game studio focusing on only building games until we realized not that many good publishing companies or toolings and infras that can literally enable us to resolve our pain point. So we decided to build a lot of stuff by ourselves. If we want to deliver the good experience, like what our product is aspired to do, we hope that we can also build the operation and the infra accordingly so that we can enable the game experience, enable the user experience to make it good. Around that time, right, so when we are making choices, we want to choose someone, that at least navigated a full cycle, not being hacked by hackers, being screwed up to justify that.
That's kind of rare. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, it's rare. It's quite rare. That's kind of a narrow down the range to a very small group of chain that we can snap. And yeah, exactly.
Only in crypto.
Yeah, we hope that their dream is big, right? Dream is big, meaning that they don't have to take the easy route for now. But we hope that we aspire to build in the long term is literally aligned with our vision and contribute value to the real Web3 industry. That's where the aggregation layer that Polygon has been building came in, that we feel the unified liquidity, the interoperability that they hope to build is quite aligned with us, although it's still in the early production stage. We feel excited about what they're building. And C is that we hope that there are still communities, audience there, etc. as an OG, may not be happy with where it is right now or with where the industry is right now, but they've got the potential to come over and become our audience in the long term. And D is, of course, what type of support we can get from there, right? So I think we are the project getting the most support from the holistic Polygon ecosystem that you can also see from their 2 million investment that at least can help us to build something awesome as a sub-ecosystem.
That's awesome. So Polygon's aping into the same tiers we're getting, right?
They are coming in in a different way. So to be honest, hopefully they won't see this video. I'm a little bit bullying to them. I was like, you can, I was like, you can
roast them.
Exactly, right? You see a lot of node sales coming from the lowest tier, one by one, until at some point this tier can't sell. Nobody knows where the whitelist is going. So when I talked to Polygon, I was like, if you take the lower tier and let the community take the higher tier, you are literally running the community. Right?
You're
so
not
as
wrong.
the ecosystem, if you want to be supportive, you should let community to rub you instead of rub the community. And they were like, oh, if we only anchor us in the highest tier, there would be some compliance problem because our investor is also looking at us. So we talked about that explicitly, is that we told people in our announcement that Polygon is putting their order, 2 million, being evenly splitted by money amount among all the tiers, meaning that their average valuation coming in is 100 million, which is kind of somewhere in the middle, like tier 6, tier 7. So technically,
so they got tier 6s.
Yeah, so that's the average.
Not
right?
bad, not bad.
It's not bad.
Yeah, we got tier 3s. That's all I gotta say. We looking good. Hey, retail's finally winning for once.
Yeah.
Cool. So Polygon's, I mean, they're taking the risk clearly, right? VCs, they're hungry. So what do you think's going on in the node meta right now? Like, are we still bullish on node sales? Clearly, you're doing one, right?
We are doing the node sales,
Yeah.
and I think it's been kind of a roller coaster journey. So we started thinking about node sales, no kidding, right? But since January, at that time, node sales was early until March. Aether kicked off as the biggest hype, etc. So you see, people got really, really excited about node sales after the wealth effect they saw from Zi December last year, right, or earlier this year, to Aether, and then got really, really bearish recently after they got trolled by so many scam or trolling projects that don't even know what node is, what it's doing, why we are doing node, etc. But that's still leveraging that hype to farm the project, to farm the community, farm the players, which I think that's kind of a process from the irrationality to rationality. Is that in the end, I think node sales is more of a mechanism, more of a tool, right? But compared with, let's say, other on-chain assets, even NFT, SBT, etc., I think it's getting closer to the fundamental meaning that it's literally contributing to the ecosystem, to the infrastructure, while still being able to be created as a narrative in the same time. That's getting more and more accessible from the retail user, right? So I think authentically, it's more of a natural tooling, and tooling is neutral concept, right? So it doesn't have any origin sin.
Right.
I think people feel angry when they are losing money. People feel happy when they're earning money. That's great. But the mechanism itself is right. So coming back a little bit, I understand that narrative today is definitely not that hype quite narrative because of a lot of other comparables, unfortunately. So we literally had a similar experience, right? So when we reach out, talk to any single community, whale, KOL, we got like, damn, another shitty node sales projects, right? So we got a by default decline until we spend quality time, 1 hour, 2 hours, letting them know who we are, what we're building, why doing no sales, etc. Until they started to feel like, oh, this is so damn cool, and this is a different project. But my problem is that how that's going to be a scalable solution, because I can't spend 2 hours, 3 hours
with everyone.
Every
Yeah.
But still, I think after the conversation that we had, the hit ratio has been really, really high. That people all feel that we are quite differentiated from other no sales projects. I would say again, right? It's more for rationality return. That people are getting more mature to look at the fundamental. We definitely got backstabbed by a lot of the recent narrative, but I think that's also good, right? Is that people come in only because of hype will also leave you because of it's no longer hype anymore, right? So I think it's actually giving us a better space and chance for us to really embrace the real ally who believe in our vision and want to join business together.
Yeah, hard agree. And talking about like long-term vision, I mean, you're a gaming company. You came from traditional gaming. Like how long have you guys been doing this stuff? Like, why are we in Web3 now? How long was this journey?
Yeah. So if you don't mind, I want to tell you some story. Right? It's like,
yeah, go for it.
I'm a lifetime very hardcore gamer. So I used to be a competitive gamer in StarCraft 1 back to 2 decades ago.
What rank?
So used to be master. Well, so I was master in StarCraft 2. In StarCraft 1, I'm not sure whether you're familiar with that, but I used to be a WCG candidate, so World Cyber Game candidate.
Really?
Representing my country, fighting against those damn god like Korean players.
The Koreans, yeah.
That's the time when I realized that's not gonna be my life career because I can't do that. Right? So I used to be there, and also so far recently getting more engaged with console games and mobile games. So 400 hours Elden Ring, 300 hours to Tears of the Kingdom. Recently, about 100 hours in the Black Myth Wukong, in the second playthrough right now.
A lot of video games.
Yeah, so I told people like my struggle in my life is that I have 4 dimensions that I have to balance: my game time, my work time, my parent time, and also my sleep time. So I compromise a lot of sleep time. Unfortunately, that's the one that relatively
fair. So how do we use this experience for your gaming studio?
Yeah, so that's a key part, right? Is that we started as a gaming studio, going back to your question, since 2022. Originally, we got a bunch of gaming veteran. We got called by a lot of people like Riot Mafia, so we got the old developer, publishing people. And
the Riot Mafia.
Yeah, so we got a lot of people from Riot, and we come over here with a dream that we want to build something that we feel fun. We are confident that gamers like it, and then we can leverage Web3 feature and community, etc., to enable that, to make that better at the next level. But along the way, I think we gradually realized that although the product's development is going well, we don't have enough support from the publishing side, from the infra side, as what I mentioned. So we decided to take an even more difficult route by upgrading ourselves to be
and you just built it all.
Yeah, so that's
okay.
Like, let's do it all, right? So ecosystem is the worst word because everyone is using ecosystem as a
yeah.
word. But yeah, from our side, we want to have the operation and publishing. So basically, how we can track each of the gamer and the user's identity, behavior, transactions, and what they are good at, etc., to build up their identity, their ecological identity, together with the infrastructure, the layer 2 chain that we are building as the infrastructure to enable the product experience to be better. Right? So from our side, I think the fundamental rule is that we always want to be product focused, but in a different way. Right? At the beginning, it's about our products. And today, it's about how we can make that as a gamer-friendly ecosystem product, highlighting interoperability, the cross-chain, cross-product benefit, etc. To in the future, we also want to bring this value to the industry. We call that externalization value, that we can use our game as a benchmark, not only from quality perspective or gameplay perspective, but also about how a developer can resolve their pain point by bringing their game experience to Web3, either as shallow as Web 2.5, only with access on chain, or as hardcore as fully on-chain game. They always have the right place that they can come in, have the benchmark they can look at, and build on top of that to bring the experience to Web3 area or with Web3 experience. So that's where we are at this moment. And I think along the way, it's never easy. We started 2 years ago, but since we started, it was right after Luna crash, right before FTX blew out.
Our favorite time in crypto.
Yeah, that's the best timing.
We were all aging very quickly.
Yeah. Well, those people who raise millions or tens of millions of money, they are not motivated, right? So you see the great companies came from the worst time of the economy, because getting the product good enough and hitting the whole market is the only way out by thriving, delivering something good experience to the end user. Right? So I think that's actually good for us, although it's not easy. Until now, we feel super lucky, grateful that with the community growth, traction, engagement, etc., we should be among pretty top tier, thanks to the community who trusted us since the very beginning and still being aligned with our vision and believing in what we're building. Yeah, so feel very happy and excited that we are still here and keep building.
It's awesome. You got to keep that same energy. I mean, I came from the bear market as well. It was a pain in the ass, but we got through it. We got through it, and that's all that matters. So in terms of like products, what's the big game? Like your gaming ecosystem, right? Quote unquote. What's your main product here? What's the awesome game? Are they going to be coming out this year? Are we waiting a couple years? Like, when's this happening?
Yeah. So when we're talking about that, we definitely want to ship something as soon as possible, right? So sometimes I feel bad because we kept silent in secret mode for over 14 months building the product that we feel good until we showcase that to the community. So that's why we were founded in 2022, but only started building the community earlier this year, is because we want to make sure the product is there, right? It's no longer the time by purchasing a demo from Unreal Store or just showcasing a cool video will make you successful. It's not the stage anymore, right? So go back to your question is that we have different category of products by different deck model, including in-house development, collaboration model, incubation model, or outsourcing, etc. But we want to set the bar with category 1 is our benchmark game. I'll quickly talk about that, right? So category 2 is like experimental games. So we have a fully on-chain game being deployed with our testnet very soon. We have a mini games as the category 3, more like an engagement tool by providing casual experience. And also category 4 are the third-party game that we want to be open to the third party coming to us to join our journey together. Starting from the category 1 is we definitely need to showcase how the benchmark gameplay may look like. So there's 2 games that we are working on since the very beginning. One is Astra, that's a tower defense PvP game, more like a strategy card game. So out of the game is like a deck building, and the in-game is like a real-time strategy merging experience you're having. That game has been tested twice, publicly twice in January and August already, with pretty good participation and retention data. Super excited. I think that one might be launched very soon. And the other game is called Bushwhack. So that's a stealth battle royale game that we personally feel that it's going to be crushing even the Web2 market, that we have never seen that type of gameplay before, right? So very simple is that it's a fast-paced battle royale from third-party perspective, and there's a lot of bush on the map, right? So that means everyone is sneaking there in a stealth mode. If you're moving slowly, nobody can see you. If you're moving too quickly, getting proactively engaged in fighting against other people or run out of bush. People can see you, can ambush you. So some people see that as a kind of a mobile, fast-paced Metal Gear Phantom thing. Right? So I would see that as a game that it looks like an action game, but it's more like a but fundamentally, it's more of a strategy game that we don't want to encourage fighting. You have to manage everything about your vision, your control, your anti-control to make sure that when you are killing other people, you are still safe, not to be assassinated by another one. Whenever you make any call or any strategy action, you have to be super careful about the downside of risk, right? So that's a stealth assassin battle game building. Simple way to remember that is we got game A and game B, so that's easier to remember. Sorry for the terminology thing, hard to understand. But yeah, those are the two games we feel super excited about that will be rolled out either to be launched or to be play tested soon. Together with a bunch of mini games, it's always live for leaderboard campaign, etc. That we want people to feel engaged.
Okay, and you just mentioned leaderboards. Is there some kind of like airdrop campaign that people are doing right now that people can participate in?
Absolutely, right? So we started the kind of Moonbeam points campaign since about April, and we definitely want to anchor that type of KPI. Don't get me wrong, right? That's literally key performance indicator to showcase how engaged you are, how good you are in the leaderboard. And then we use Moonbeam together with other perks as a key reward to encourage people coming in, playing the game, thriving over there by getting the rewards. So that has been happening since April. Right? So that's also a way that we are showcasing. We have different products, different good games for you to play and experience. You might be a good fit for this one, not that one. That's totally fine. And then once we are getting closer to TGE, there will also be the more tokens. Our native token is called more. There will be more token campaign, literally as play to airdrop or skill to airdrop. If you are good at playing games, coming in and
So
you
for
will get
Legion,
better. Yes.
are we gonna have any like community tournaments, activating communities and stuff, so we can win? Of course, we like prize pools.
We actually tried that already in the.
But you didn't invite us, unfortunately.
Don't worry, you were definitely on the list. We're inviting a lot of people. We got constrained by the server capability, but I think we're getting better and better there.
Yeah, hopefully the game doesn't break when you go public. Okay, that's fair. That's fair. So you've got your games coming out, and I'm assuming like what are we using these nodes for? What's the primary purpose? How does this like correlate with the games?
Yeah. So I think in the end, right, that's more correlated to the holistic ecosystem. Before that, right, our philosophy is that it's a little bit from the Riot philosophy back in the days when I was at Riot. We feel that every type of gamer, every type of user, if they align with us, want to contribute to the holistic gaming industry, gaming ecosystem, they deserve to be better treated, embraced, and compensated as well. Right, meaning that as a gaming ecosystem, we want to earn the trust from our ally. Either you are a hardcore gamer, or you only want to spend, or you're aligned with us, want to evangelize the concept, or you're providing constructive feedback, or as a KOL, or only be socially active on social media, etc. All of those things that can help our ecosystem to get better, to grow bigger, should be better treated, in my personal opinion. Right. So going back to the ecosystem concept, this word has been abused as well. Everyone is saying they are ecosystem. So from my side is that we want to break that down to the product layer. So we are always product focused. Operation layer, aggregating the gamer and the user's identity, behavior, traction, and also infra layer. The infra layer meaning that that's the part that we are building a layer 2 by ourselves to enable the gamer's experience to be as seamless as possible, either there from 2 or 3, together with the developer experience that we can make the developers align with us to find the most customizable way to build. So with that said, the node itself will be broken down into different stages. At the very beginning, today, what we can offer, what we can define right now, is more of a key contributor of the infra layer. So we are decentralizing the DA layer to enable the users as a node owner to run the data, operate the data, manage the data of the ecosystem in a decentralized way. So that's where it is today. But we see that more as a progressive decentralization. Right? So even on the infra layer contribution side, we want the node owners to gradually transition their role from only a DA layer owner to more of a verifier owner and prover owner as well in the holistic L2 product lifecycle to own the key stages of that. So that's stage 2 when we're getting maturer. Stage 3 is that I'm always a big fan of a node plus concept, right? Is that node is not supposed to be only a node itself. Potentially, it's going to be a media that would be able to take more responsibility, helping the gaming ecosystem to be better. Right? So, for example, even for the data, a lot of the in-game data, once we put it on chain, it can better track the players' achievement, player traction, how many champions you got in the tournament, etc. Those things would also be able to reflect it back to the gamer experience for in-game, right? So who you are, why you're thriving, how good you are at different types of games, and how you can get compensated from there. So we want to tie the more, even revenue sharing, gas fee sharing, etc., with the ecosystem for their gaming experience to be better as an end user too in the long term.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. End user experience, ecosystem, buzzwords, trying to make it into a verifier ecosystem. That makes sense. That makes sense. Okay. And so the public sale is happening, what, the 24th, 6 a.m. Eastern time, I believe, is the hard date for that.
Yeah, we changed the date a little.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah,
I saw that. Yeah,
I believe that's the right time. Right? So we have to accommodate the global audience that we are embracing together. So
yeah, we're not going to be awake at midnight. We're going to be partying.
Yeah, right. It'll be 3 a.m. my time on that day. So unfortunately.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah,
and so people buy these nodes, right? And so like there's some kind of airdrop happening with skill to airdrop, et cetera, et cetera. Is there an expectation for some kind of goodie to come out whenever this token ends up launching for the node holders? Are we going to be on testnet mining? Like, what are we doing?
For testnet, there would definitely be interactions over there. So going back to your question 111, right? Specifically about testnet question is that we're still thinking about that. Testnet mining is one way to do that, but compared with other like testnet, also only encouraging people for AKA meaningful interaction to some extent, right? So we do have a fully on-chain game, and we want to deploy the fully on-chain game on testnet either when it's launched or right after it's launched, so that we can provide some real utility on testnet for people who want this. The data doesn't have to be ridiculous, like millions of interactions by that matters. We want people to feel that this is the authentic way to interact the testnet by the free on-chain game that they can play. So that's where we want to put the real utility. Two, airdrop, right, is that I think airdrop is necessary. But in the end, the philosophy is that I think those people who are co-building with us, providing the value of themselves and also the contribution that they can help the ecosystem to be better, deserve to be better treated among all those community members and contributors. Right. So with that said, there will be three types of airdrops. Right? One is based on the Moonbeam points, like how engaged you are, what type of behavior you have done, are you high in the Moonbeam ranking, etc. With two, directly play to airdrop, as we mentioned. So when we're getting closer to TGE, there will be more direct play to airdrop or skill to airdrop thing happening that we want to reward gamers. And three are the airdrop that we can empower the node owners to enjoy the benefit, right? So there will be airdrop for the node owners that include the 25% of the tokens allocated to node owners being unlocked during TGE. Another 5% being airdropped to them right after TGE, I would say within 3 months-ish as a compensation for activating the node. The rest part would be vested in the next 3 years. And also, as kind of alpha, is that we want that to be more of an iterative package as well, meaning that we have already started working with different partners, ecosystem. We want to package more different type of tokens, perks, rewards during the airdrop or after the TGE, that we can make node owners feel that they are getting more and more from the development or effort that we have been putting over there. So it's going to be iterative as well.
Okay, that's fair enough. So goodies over time for owning these nodes, kind of like your loyal holder base is the guys that own the Muse nodes. So you want to make sure you're giving them value with all the different products you're releasing, the success of it. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So I would say the next thing would be, you know, people, when are they going to be able to use these nodes? When are we getting it airdropped? Like, do we get it the second that we buy it tomorrow, or do we have to wait?
Direct answer is have to wait, because we're taking a more innovative approach than the traditional validator nodes, meaning that we have to put more effort on the tax solution, tax stack back in the end, right? So with that said, there will be different steps. After the node sales, I think you will be able to see how many nodes you bought and what the nodes you own, etc. But there will be an NFT license being airdropped to you in a few weeks. We're still working on the development of that, and also nail down a couple of details. So that will be airdropped to you in a few weeks, if not 1 month. So we want that to be a quick validation to you ASAP, although I can't give you an exact date. We hope that's going to be sooner. And then when it's going to be activated. So it's going to be activated during the mainnet launch, which is going to be during or right after TGE. So once you activate the node on the mainnet, because node is contributing to the mainnet, then that's the time when you're able to get the rewards. But want to make it super clear, right, is that 25% unlock is being tied with TGE. So even, let's say, even if we are still fixing the bugs, try to optimize the performance of the mainnet, that 25% is going to be unlocked during TGE no matter how. So we want to make sure it's a balance of, we want to build a long-term relationship with analysts. Also, we want to make sure that in the short term, because of their trust and the contribution, they will be compensated well and much better than the other nodes, right? So you have never seen 25% during TGE answer. It's always like linear vesting.
Yeah, it's a first.
So that's a part that we want to be generous on this part too.
That's fair. And so is it always going to be a fixed amount of tokens? Because I look at your Twitter page and I see it says 4,000 more tokens per node. Will it ever change, or is it always going to be exactly 4,000?
So per current design is that we want that to be 4,000 token fixed. So we are providing a transparent design of when you are looking at which tier you're getting, what valuation it implements, you are getting a clear expectation of where you are at, right? It's not like, it's hard to balance, right? Is that when we're saying, let's say if we are setting nodes, people are expecting, of course, there could be unsold nodes to be allocated. But if the node sales is doing really bad, you want to be only a few people that are enjoying a very beneficial valuation while taking all the other people's nodes only because it's not doing well. So then where is the balance? It's really hard to get. So we want to deliver a clear expectation of that by anchoring more of the upside potential along the way, right? Instead of only simply committing, or we should allocate the unsold nodes to whoever have already joined, etc. It's unfair for those people who come in as an early adopter that taking unnecessary liabilities only because we can't sell nodes. So with that said, I think it's going to be the iterative person airdrops together with, so we're also taking the feedback from the community that we saw a lot of people mention there's a protection mechanism, buyback mechanism, etc. So we also want to provide this type of the protection for especially those people who trusted us that purchase the same nodes, maybe with higher tiers, higher price. They still feel comfortable that we are with them, right? So we don't want to farm them. Instead, if they want to take the risk, I want to take the risk as well, right? So if they're taking the risk of high valuation, higher tier, I think we want to take also the risk of providing the buyback mechanism to some extent. The details is still to be locked down today or tomorrow, but we want to make sure that we are also committing to them our commitment in the long term that we should take the similar risk level and co-build together.
So there's going to be something similar to the buyback mechanism that 𝐺 has. So if people don't know in the audience, 𝐺 has something where, you know, over the course of 6 months, as long as you're not like paper handing, you can get a 100% buyback in 𝐺. So I mean, I'm assuming it's not obviously the same, you know, you're gonna do something different, but in some way or another, there's gonna be something similar there for Moonveil.
Short answer, yes. So I think we want to make it more for public participants, and the highly possible going to be mainly targeting to the higher tier perspective. So that for those people, as what I mentioned, if they're taking a higher risk on the valuation side, we want to make sure that they feel we are with them. Right? We don't farm them, we are with them, standing together.
Yeah, do we know yet the tokenomics for Moonveil, or is that still to be decided?
Short answer, to be decided.
Yeah.
Longer answer is happy to provide a little bit context here, is because we are in touch with different partners, exchanges, etc. And there are always inputs that we have to embrace or take into account to think about how we can deliver better tokenomics. But what we want to make sure is that the 4,000 token per node, 20% of the total token supply allocated to node owners, contributors, etc., is fixed over there, right? So being very transparent is there could be some feedback that we have to take to further cut, let's say, teams take, or even kick some investor out, to be honest. But we don't want to cut down the node part because that's the contribution that we want to embrace to help the infra to get better.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I guess last question, there's a lot of node projects out there that nowadays are doing something where like if you want to claim your token, you have to wait 160 days for 100% unlock. Are you doing any of that for Moonveil?
I think short answer, no, of course, because the 25% unlock is showing our commitment and our respect, right? Is that if we want to do something with a complex design, we should say it right now, right? Yeah. So for the 25% unlock is no matter how the token unlock during TGE without whatever staking thing, right? So that's a part will go to you. But on the other side, right, is that we also want to differentiate those people who contribute or not contribute, right? So only
Right.
owning node by participating in the purchase right now without activating won't get the same type of return compared with those people who are running their nodes, activating the nodes, and also helping the ecosystem to be better. So there would be differences between those people who either between those people who make contribution or not make contribution by being reflected by how the vesting looks like, whether they will be able to claim the rewards, etc. And there would be VE more design for the claiming experience in the long term to be more smooth, and it's still under design right now.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, take care of the guys actually taking the time to run the nodes. That's the entire purpose of the ecosystem. Awesome, MJ. Do you have any last words or things you want to add?
Since you mentioned that, I just want to quickly resonate is that thanks to a lot of NAS providers, or node as a service provider, the industry is getting more and more mature. So I think that we care more about the intention. Okay, so are those node owners really aligned with us and want to contribute? And then if they want to, we don't want to build any blocker for them, right? So there would be delegation model that you would be able to delegate to other people to run the nodes.
Oh, I always delegate. I love delegations.
Oh yeah, so there's a lot
that's my favorite. I have too many nodes.
Yeah, make the experience better. So don't worry about that if you don't have a high spec PC. That's no worries.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are worried about that. The node cell meta. There's so many nodes, right? Like everybody needs to have a NOS provider. So I'm hoping you get with some of the boys that we end up using. I'll for sure be using it. Thank you for joining the channel, MJ. I'm looking forward to hopefully after this sale ends, having you on the channel once again, talking about your games when they go live. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Please, let's have a game-focused conversation next time.
Absolutely. We'll 1v1 at the same time.
We'll do it.
All right. Awesome.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Once again, I personally think it's really awesome that he keeps it real. There's not a lot of people in this space that keep it real like the Moonveil CEO does. Hopefully you got some context as to why we are doing what we're doing, some information on what's going on within the node cell meta. If you end up getting into their sale tomorrow on October 24th, 6 a.m. Eastern time, it's good to be on at the time that it starts to get the earliest tiers. Use code JM for 10% off. And as always, crypto gaming is gonna make it.